LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for 8th and 9th November 2023. Now, we'll be talking about some interesting editorial today, which talks about the Maratha quota protests heats up, what Supreme Court, Bombay High Court have ruled on it, and what steps state government is taking that we have taken from the Indian Express. And nextly, we'll be talking about some news update, which will include the national news, international news, important days, awards in sports. And lastly, we'll be talking about some legal news update coming from the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, let us start with the editorial section. Maratha quota protest has been intensified in Maharashtra, and because of that particular protest, the state government has formed a panel of 3 former High Court judges to advise it on the legal battle over the issue in the Supreme Court. Now, ahead of the assembly poll elections and the Lok Sabha election, activist Manoj Jarange Patil has launched a fast onto death protest for Maratha reservation, putting pressure on the state government. So this particular issue has been before the Bombay High Court and the Supreme Court, and to advise the state government, the 3 judges panel of High Court have been formed over the battle that is going on for reservation. Now, the Marathas are the group of caste comprising peasants and the landowner, among other, constituting nearly 33% of the state population. Now, the demand for Maratha reservation is not new in the state. It has been a very bit old demand for the reservation in the state. The first protest over this was held 32 years ago by Mathari labor union leader Anna Saheb Patel in Mumbai. So the protest and the fight that is going on is not new basically. It is very old, which is 32 years ago, and which was by Mathari labor union leader Anna Saheb Patel in Mumbai. Okay. Now, there was a ruling in 2019 by Bombay High Court on this particular matter. Let us discuss that ruling and how it is justificable, what court has given justification on this. So in November 2018, there was a BJP government in Maharashtra which passed a bill proposing 16% reservation in education and government jobs for Maratha community. So by then 2019, there was a bill passed where it was proposed 16% reservation. Now this particular bill was challenged in court, and in June 2019, the Bombay High Court, consisting of Judges Ranjit V. More and Justice Bharati H. Dengre, upheld the constitutional validity of the Maratha quota under Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act 2019. Now, while this ruling 16% quota was granted by the state, which was not justificable, the High Court reduced it to 12% in education and 13% in government jobs as recommended by Maharashtra State Backward Classes Commission. So the validity of the reservation remained upheld, but the percentage went down 16 to 12 and 13% respectively. Now, High Court said that while the reservation ceiling should not exceed 50%, in exceptional circumstances and extraordinary situation, the limit can be crossed if quantifiable data reflecting backwardness is made available. So, the quota of 15% can be brought up in extraordinary situations. Okay. Now, the High Court relied on few things. Let us discuss that. The High Court relied heavily on the findings of the committee, which was named Maharashtra State Backwardness Class Commission, and it was an 11-member committee which was headed by retired Justice G.M. Gaikwad. Now, the committee had their statistical data, and it surveyed around 45,000 families from 2 villages in each of 355 talukas that had more than 50% Maratha population. In November 2015, report found that the Maratha community to be socially, economically, and educationally backward. So the committee was formed. They did a statistical data research. On the basis of the research, they found the community to be socially, economically, and educationally backward. Now, in social backwardness, the commission formed that around 76, more than 76% of Maratha families are engaged in agriculture or agricultural laborer for their livelihood. And 70% reside in Kutch dwellings, while 35 to 40% have personal tap water connections. Moreover, the report said that in 2013 to 2018, a total of 23% Maratha farmers died by suicide against total 13,368 farmer suicide. So there was a statistical data on the basis of which the report was formed. And that report, there was some percentage which was being told, which was stating that how Maratha community is socially, economically, and educationally backward. And the Bombay High Court relied on that particular report. Now, the commission also found that more than 88% Maratha women are involved in physical labor for earning a livelihood beside the physical domestic work they perform for their family. Now, when it comes to educationally backwardness, more than 13% of Marathas are illiterate, 35% are primary educated, and more than 43% are higher secondary or senior secondary school going students. So they found it out when it comes to economical section, what they were working. When it comes to education sector, how many percentage of people were educationally backward, and whether they are primary educated or secondary educated, senior secondary education have been done or not. So based on that, their statistical data and the analysis they found it that the Maratha reservation needs an approval. Okay, now, so the matter went up to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court struck down the Maratha reservation. And why did they do that? Let us discuss that. So in May 2021, a 5 judges constitution bench of Supreme Court struck down the Maratha quota, which took the total reservation in state above 50%, ceiling which was set up by the Indira Sohane judgment in 1992. So what happened? When the Maratha community got the reservation, the total reservation in the state went up before 50%, which was against the Supreme Court ruling in 1992 of Indira Sohane judgment. The apex court said that 50% ceiling, although an arbitrary determination by the court in 1992, is now constitutionally recognized. It said that there was no extraordinary circumstance to cross the 50% mark, adding Marathas were a dominant forward class and are in the mainstream of national life. The quota had been challenged in the Supreme Court by lawyer Jayashree Lakshmana Rao Patil and others. Now, when in November 2022, after Supreme Court upheld the 10% quota for economically weaker section, the Maharashtra government said until the issue of Maharashtra reservation was resolved, economically weaker members of the community could benefit from the EWS quota. So in April this year, after the Supreme Court turned down its review plea, the state government said it would file a curative petition and form a new panel for a detailed survey of the backwardness of the community. So when the 10% EWS also happened, so Maharashtra government said that, until the Maharashtra reservation matter was resolved, economically weaker members of the community could benefit from the EWS quota. Now, what is the latest step on this particular reservation by the Maharashtra government? Taking the note of Jarangi's Patil protest, the state on 7th November formed a 5-member committee under Justice retired Sandeep K. Shinde to study the procedure of giving Kunbi OBC certificate to Marathas based on documents including revenue record from Nizam period. Now, the Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court dismissed a plea against the formation of the panel. Chief Minister Mr. Eknath Shinde later said the 5-member committee had so far checked around 1.73 revenue records, out of which 11,530 Kunbi records were found, and the state cabinet on Tuesday accepted the first report of the panel. Now, let us understand the existing position of reservation of the Maharashtra in the state following 2001 State Reservation Act. The total reservation is 52%, with in scheduled caste is 13%, scheduled tribe 7, OBC 19, with the addition of 12 to 13% Maratha quota. The total reservation in the state has gone up to 64 to 65%, and the 10% EWS quota is also effective in the state. So this is the existing reservation seen in the Maharashtra. So the Maratha quota protest has been heated up. Let's see what would the committee would say on this, and what would be the apex court would say on these, and we will keep you updated by the coming news on this particular matter. I hope this particular matter is absolutely clear in terms of Bombay High Court and what Supreme Court ruled in the past and what is the present situation. Do tell us in the comment section, what do you think about this Maratha reservation quota that is coming up. Now, coming up to the national news of the day, Heeralal Samariya appointed as Chief Information Commissioner, and he is a senior bureaucrat and former Information Commissioner. Heeralal Samariya has been sworn as a Chief Information Commissioner by President Draupadi Murmu, making him the first person from the Dalit community to hold the post. So it's a very revolutionary appointment. He's a 1985 batch officer of Telangana cadre. He was appointed as the Information Commissioner on 7th November. As many as 8 information commissioners posts remain vacant in CIC. At present, there are 2 informationer commission. So CIC has been appointed by the President on the recommendation of the committee, including the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition of Lok Sabha, and a Union Cabinet Minister nominated by Prime Minister. This is the 6th time since 2014 that the post of CIC had fallen vacant. Supreme Court on October 30 asked the centre and the state government to take steps to fill the post, saying otherwise the 2005 RTI Act will become a dead letter. So this was a news that we covered before in the previous TNA, where we talked about the Supreme Court ruling that RTI would become a dead letter if the appointments are not done on time. So this is a revolutionary step coming, where a Dalit community will be holding the post for the first time as a Chief Information Commissioner. Now, Swedish company becomes the first to back 100% FDI in defense project to make shoulder-fired rockets in Haryana. So Sweden SAB has become the first foreign company to bag 100% FDI in India's defense project. According to the report, SAB will set up a new facility in the country to manufacture shoulder-fire rockets. Now, the manufacturing facility is likely to be placed in Haryana. The shoulder-fire rockets are already in extensive use by the Indian Armed Forces. According to the report, they can be even exported once local production begins. So it's an FDI that is coming up, and the India is presently allowing only 74% FDI in the defense sector under the automatic route. Now, Surat warship emblem unveiled in the esteemed presence of Chief Minister in Surat. So the crest of India's Navy latest under construction guided missile destroyer Surat was unveiled by Shri Bhupendra Patel, the Chief Minister of Gujarat, at a ceremony in Surat in the presence of Admiral R. Hari Kumar. Now, the crest of Surat depicts the famous lighthouse of Haziriya, that is Surat, located at the southern entrance of the Gulf of Kambhat. Named after the city of Surat, renowned for its rich maritime history and shipbuilding legacy, the warship Surat also embodies the enterprising and self-reliant spirit of its namesake. The 4th ship of the indigenously designed and constructed Project 15B destroyers, Surat represent a remarkable leap in naval technology and capabilities. So the emblem has been unveiled, and it has been unveiled in the Gujarat. Okay. Now, Kerala honored with Global Responsible Tourism Award 2023 for promoting sustainable and inclusive tourism. Now, Kerala has bagged a prestigious Global Responsibility Tourism Award 2023. State Tourism Minister P.A. Mohammad Riaz said the state won the award instituted by the Responsible Tourism Partnership and International Center for Responsible Tourism in the Best for Local Sourcing, Craft and Food category. Now, the Global Responsible Tourism Award, which cater to Africa, India, and Latin America regions, were given in 6 categories, including Best for Tackling Plastic Waste, Best for Meaningful Connections, Best for Local Sourcing, that is craft and food, Addressing Climate Change, Best for Diversity and Inclusion, and Best for Nature Positive Tourism. So there were 6 parameters on the base of which the award was given, and Kerala has been backed with Global Responsible Tourism Award for 2023. Now, Shinde unveils Shivaji statue in Kupwara will inspire soldiers. So, the Maharashtra Chief Minister, Mr. Eknath Shinde, Tuesday unveiled a statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara. The statue was installed in Kupwara in collaboration with Amhi Punekar organization and 41 Rashtriya Rifle Maratha Battalion. Now, the equestrian statue of Maratha King was installed at the Rashtriya Rifles 41 Maratha Light Infantry Regiment in Kupwara, which borders Pakistan. So, this has been set up in Jammu and Kashmir in the region Kupwara. Now, Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and Maharashtra Cultural Affairs Minister Sudhir Mungatwar were also present in the event when this particular statue was unveiled. So, very good step when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir. Indian women hockey team wins gold at Asian Champions Trophy 2023 and it has secured gold for the second time in the competition's history. Now, the tournament final match, which sealed India's triumphant moment, took place on 5th November 2023 at the Marang Gomke Jaipal Singh Mundra AstroTurf Hockey Stadium in Ranchi. Now, in recognition of their exceptional performance throughout the tournament, Hockey India announced a reward of rupees 3 lakh for each member of the Indian team and 1.5 lakh for each member of the support staff. The gesture underscores the significance of team's victory and dedication of both the players and the support staff. So, Indian women hockey team wins gold at Asian Championship Trophy 2023. Now, India and Bhutan enhance bilateral ties with new initiative. So, India and Bhutan have recently announced several key initiatives to strengthen their bilateral relationship. During this meeting, both the countries discussed trade, technology, and cross-border connectivity. Now, there is a cross-border rail link. The two nations have agreed to conduct a final location survey for a proposed rail link between Kokrajhar in Assam, India, and Gelfu in Bhutan. Additionally, there is a consideration for establishing another rail link between Banahart in West Bengal, India, and Samtse in Bhutan. So there is a trade infrastructure enhancement also, and immigration check post and connectivity is also being talked about here. So there was a bilateral ties with new initiative, which was related to cross-border rail link, trade infrastructure enhancement, and immigration check post and connectivity. ISRO Aditya L1 mission captures its first high energy solar flare. So there was a mission which was launched by ISRO Aditya L1 solar probe mission has completed an important milestone. It captured its first high energy solar flare in X-ray. Now, the satellite that ISRO refers to is Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite, which is operated by the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Studying solar flares and other space weather phenomena is important because they can affect life here on Earth. They can affect power system, satellite communication system, and radio communication. So it has captured its first high energy solar flare. Now, let us talk about some international news. World Intellectual Property Indicators Report 2022. Global patenting activity hits record high. So, the global landscape of intellectual property experienced significant changes and trends as outlined in the World Intellectual Property Indicators Report. Now, patent filing reached new height. The world witnessed an impressive surge in patent application, marking the third consecutive year of growth. Now, innovators worldwide submitted a staggering 3.46 million patent applications. So it's a very high record, demonstrating a remarkable global interest in protecting intellectual property. So the report has been launched. So intellectual property report has been launched. It includes various indicators. Now, let us talk about the countries. So the top countries contributing to this patenting boom include China, United States, Japan, the Republic of Korea, and Germany. So they are the highest ranking top countries contributing to the patenting boom. And this is the report where the patenting activity had hits the record high. NATO announces formal suspension of Cold War era security treaty after Russia's pullout. So the NATO on Tuesday announced the formal suspension of a key Cold War era security treaty in response to Russia's pullout from the deal. Most of NATO's 31 allies have signed the Treaty of Conventional Armed Forces in Europe, which has aimed at preventing Cold War rivals from massing forces at or near mutual borders. Now, Russian Foreign Ministry announced earlier Tuesday that Moscow had finalized its withdrawal. NATO underlined that its members remain committed to reduce military risk and prevent misperceptions and conflict. So it has announced a formal suspension of Cold War era security treaty after Russia's pullout. Singapore PM to set down before 2025 poll hand party leadership over to deputy. So Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong announced his intention to step down and transfer authority to his deputy Lawrence Wong in late 2024 before 2025 general election. Now Lee is age 71, had originally planned to retire before reaching the age of 70, but this decision was postponed due to COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Lee is the eldest son of Lee Kuan Yew, who became Singapore's first prime minister and built the resource-poor city-state into one of the world's richest nation during 31 years service in office. But it has also been criticized for tight governmental control, media censorship, and use of oppressive laws and civil lawsuit against dissidents. So Singapore PM will step down before 2025 poll and the leadership will go to the deputy PM, which is Lawrence Wong. Bangladesh to host 24th Asian Archery Championship in 2025, winning by 1410 votes in the bid at the World Archery Asia Congress held on Friday in Bangkok, Thailand. When the vote was held between the two countries that participated in the bid at the Congress, Bangladesh won the vote and was allowed to host the Archery Championship. The 23rd Asian Archery Championship started on Sunday, that is November 5th, in Bangkok, Thailand. So Bangladesh will hold the 24th and 23rd is happening, which is started from November 5th in Bangkok, Thailand. Okay. Now, let us start with the legal updates of the day. And the legal updates are very important today, which are coming from the Honorable Supreme Court. And all the legal updates have a chance of coming in the Judicial Services Examination in a situation-based question. Or you can also quote here with the relevant section. So, examination of persons who recorded dying declaration is essential. So, the Supreme Court has laid down that all the questions to be asked and the consideration to be kept in while deciding the weightage of awarded to a dying declaration. So the court recognized the inherent value of a dying declaration, but found several glaring issues that cast doubt on the reliability of the declaration used as evidence in this particular case. So the case name was Manju Nath versus State of Karnataka. It was observed that in the case at hand, the court held that the dying declaration, although undoubtedly a substantial piece of evidence upon which reliance can be placed, in the present facts is rendered nugatory as the person who took down such declaration was not examined, nor did the police officer endorse the said document with details of who took the declaration. So here comes a verdict where the court talked about that examination of persons who recorded the dying declaration is also essential to give the credibility to the dying declaration of the victim or whosoever has given the declaration. So if the credibility needs to be maintained, the person who recorded the dying declaration has also to be examined. So this is a very important judgment which is from the Honorable Supreme Court. Next, we talked about 27, section 27, which is of Indian Evidence Act. Recovery of a weapon from an open place accessible to all is not reliable, which is again from the same case, Manjunath versus State of Karnataka, which is coming from the Supreme Court, and the court is dealing with the admissibility of the evidence, and it talked that incriminatory objects, when discovered in places accessible to public, cannot be solely relied upon to establish the guilt of the accused persons. It is pertinent to note that for admissibility under section 27, the fact discovered must be a direct consequence of information received from a person in custody. So the court discussed the conditions necessary for the applicability of section 27 of the Evidence Act. Now, what are the points? Discovery of fact must be in consequence of information from the person accused of an offense. The discovery of such a fact must be disposed, and the accused must be in police custody at the time of receiving the information. So court has also relied upon some landmark judgment, which is the decision in Pulukuri Kotaya versus King Emperor, and which was subsequent affirmation in Muhammad Inayatullah versus State of Maharashtra. These are very landmark judgments for section 7 on admissibility of evidence. And again, it's the latest judgment from the Honorable Supreme Court, which is Manjunath versus State of Karnataka. So ye yaad rakhiyega, it's very, very important for the examination. Now, Section 65B of the Evidence Act, certificate can be produced at any stage of trial. Supreme Court allows prosecution plea in 2008 Bangalore blast case. So the Supreme Court reiterated that the certificate under Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act to prove electronic evidence can be produced at any stage of trial. So the bench was comprising Justice Vikram Nath and Rajesh Bindal, which set aside the Karnataka High Court, which refused to allow the prosecution to produce Section 65B certificate in the trial relating to 2008 Bangalore blast case. The court also took the note of the observation in 2014 decision Anwar PB versus PK Bashir that certificate under Section 65B of the Act is not required if electronic record is used as a primary evidence. So again, it's a very important case based on 65B of the Evidence Act, which talks about the admissibility and proof of electronic evidence. And the case name is State of Karnataka versus T. Nashir, alias Thadiyanath Vida Nashir. So please note this particular judgment. These are the good judgments for asking in the judicial services examination. Okay, so please note this judgment. Now, the last legal update coming from the Rajasthan High Court, which states that maternity leave can't be denied to mother who has begotten child through surrogacy. So again, a very revolutionary judgment where the court talked and clarified that a natural biological mother and a mother who has begotten a child through surrogacy cannot be differentiated for the purpose of granting maternity leave. Okay. Now, it was a single judge bench by Justice Anup Kumar Dhan also opinion that the babies newly born through the process of surrogacy cannot be left at the mercy of others, and they require love, care, protection, attention of mothers during infancy. So you cannot differentiate a mother who has given a biological birth and who is a surrogate mother and needs a maternity leave. Okay. So a mother who has begotten the child through surrogacy also needs a maternity leave. And this has been linked with Article 21 of the Constitution, where right to life has been enshrined, which includes right of motherhood and the right of child to get love, bond of affection, full care and attention. So this has been linked with Article 21 as well. And the name of the case is Gayatri versus Maharaja Ganga Singh University and others. Now, if you want to revise your previous TNA, do check out the link of the quiz given in the description of this particular TNA. And that's all for the today's editorial section and the news update. Stay tuned and take care.